Greetings, Pokemon fans, and welcome back to JD's Nerdverse. Today we're doing an optimized playthrough prediction for a playthrough of Pokemon Crystal with Quagsire. Quagsire is known as a waterfish Pokemon. This little goofy little derp little guy here. I'm really excited to play through this because it's one of my favorite Pokemon Generation 2. Let's look at the gifts. The gifts, I really couldn't find a great one, so I got one with him opening his mouth. There's one where he's doing backflips. I didn't put that one on here. And then there's one where it's just walking with its arms. It looks like its arms don't have any bones. And then obviously you have Quagsire, this is the normal picture, and then Quagsire's shiny version. I won't go ahead and wax poetically about how every shiny version in Generation 2 is pink, but this one is pink nonetheless. Let's go and go over what happened in the previous playthrough. The previous playthrough, we played through as Wooper evolved into Quagsire, and we beat the Elite Four at 1 hour and 23 minutes and 13 seconds. I want to shave, I'd hope to shave about 20 minutes. I'd like to get done on an hour, to be honest with you, but we need to get certain levels to hit certain damage rounds. So I don't think that's going to be feasible, but hopefully I can shave about 20 minutes off this time. That'd be ideal for me. That's my preference. I like to do that. So we didn't do too horribly starting out with Wooper, and then we finished the entire game. So that was the Elite Four time. This is the entire game. This is the Red final at 2 hours and 2 minutes. I would like to get this at about 1 hour and 30 minutes. But like I said, in this playthrough, as you can look in here, we had 25 resets because we got to this battle with about 5 resets. And then we kept losing to Venusaur. Now, I don't know how well you can see this. So I'm going to try to zoom in. So if you look over, I don't think you can see my cursor, where it says SPE on the left side, where it says level 79, our speed was 149. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom drastically into this. And Venusaur's speed was 148. So that's why we didn't do too hot in that battle, was because we did not outspeed the Venusaur. So Venusaur was a huge problem. It kept one-shotting us pretty much with Solar Beam. And it was just abysmal. So that was like 20 resets right there, plus some charm and some bad luck on other things. So we're going to try to mitigate that, but make sure we get to the right level. Now, getting there and winning in 1 hour and 30 minutes would be amazing. But I think we have to get to at least level 81 to get that speed, or maybe even 82 to make sure we're over that speed so we're not speed tied. So that's what we're going to have to do. So let's go and go over the Pokemon. A little bit of things about it. Like, we're going to start off fully evolved. We don't have to worry about evolution. Like I said, waterfish Pokemon, and we're going to scroll down. It's the water ground type. It's a great typing, to be honest. I think this typing inspired a lot of things that happen with like Mudkip and Swampert and things like that, and Marshtomp in Generation 2. And then we're in the medium fast growth. That's all that's really important from this page. Let's go and go over the stats of this Pokemon. We're going to have 95 HP, 85 attack, 85 defense, 65 special attack, 65 special defense, and 35 speed. For a grand total of 430. Not the worst stats ever. It's very symmetrical when it comes to its physical and special. They're about the same. This is more of a physical attacker, which will inspire a little bit more of our move design at the beginning of the game. But as we scroll down, we're going to look and see how our weaknesses stack up. We only have one weakness with this Pokemon, and that is to grass. It's a 4 times weakness. Now, in the previous playthrough, we had to play through Bellsprout Tower because it was the first playthrough. We do not have to do that. We do not have that obligation. We can completely skip over it. So the beginning of the game will be where we make up a good bit of time. Because I'm pretty sure we had to spend about 15 minutes in there. And that ate into the rest of the time. We will not have to do that with this Pokemon. We can go right to Falkner's Gym, beat Falkner, and progress through the game. We do have a lot of immunities and resistances. So we have 5 different immunities we have 1 immunity and 4 resistances. Let me rephrase that. And then we're neutral damage against everything else. So the last thing to do is go over our moveset. So if you saw the last playthrough, you're going to know this. It's Water Gun, it's Tail Whip. Slam, we're not going to do much with. Amnesia is going to do nothing. Earthquake, very useful. It's probably the best move we have. And then Rain Dance, Mist, and Haze are not useful at all. So we're not going to use them. It's Earthquake and it's Water Gun out of our level up moveset. There's plenty of stuff out of the TM moveset. We will use Dynamic Punch. We will use Headbutt. Curse, Rollout, Toxic, Rock Smash. I'm not going to use... Not even Hidden Power won't be used with this Pokemon. Water-type Pokemon are very unique in that they really don't need a Hidden Power. They usually have a lot of coverage. And if they can get access to an Ice move like Ice Punch, they really don't need Fire or Ice because it's going to cover... Anything that's weak to Fire is pretty much weak to Ice. Like, if you're Grass-type, you're weak to Ice. If you're a Bug-type, you're weak to Ice. If you're... maybe not ground type, but fire type's not effective against ground. And obviously with dragon Pokemon like Claire and like Lance, you don't really need to get hidden power or anything for this. So hidden power will stay as hidden power dark, which we won't use, which will keep our stats maxed out. Snore, not going to use. Hyper Beam, not going to use. Protect, Rain Dance, Endure, Frustration, not going to use. Iron Tail, Obviously, we're going to use Earthquake, but we're going to get it to be a level up long before we get it to be a TM. It's in Victory Road, but we're going to be at level 35 is when we get it, and that's probably around when we're going to be near Chuck. So we have to wait a long time to be able to use our best move, and we're not going to do that. Return, we'll use that as soon as we can get it. It's 102 base power when it's maxed out. I do use proteins and stuff, so it does expedite that. As soon as you use like things like that on your Pokemon, it does accelerate that pretty well. And then we have Dig, which will be useful for a little bit. It'll replace Mud Slap as our stab move, and Dig will be very effective against a handful of things, especially like Morty's Gym, and that's where that'll be used. So we'll have some utility. Double Team, not going to use Ice Punch, very useful. It does go basically make a couple trainers obsolete because Ice Punch is so effective. Swagger, Sleep Talk, Sludge Bomb would be decent with this Pokemon, but I'm not removing the other moves. If you look at the other moves, there's no point in Sludge Bomb. We've got 2 stab moves, a coverage move, and obviously Return's old reliable for anyone if we want to hit something that can't be hit by ground, so it just wouldn't make sense. Sludge Bomb, like I said, is not bad, but again, Return's more powerful. Sandstorm, not going to use. Defense Curl, Rest, Attract, Surf will be used, 95 base power, it's a stab move, 100% accurate. Strength, Flash, and Whirlpool, that's all of our moves. Now, that's our regular moves that we used in the original playthrough. We're going to add one move to this via Breeding. So we have access to Ancient Power, Body Slam, and Safeguard. As much as Ancient Power can be nice, and it could possibly at some points mitigate our speed, I don't think it's going to have a good long-term use because there's going to be more powerful moves that we can get. But Body Slam, I think, will utilize our physical attack stat early, and it'll make a lot of things early obsolete. So, as much as Ancient Power and getting out Omni Boost would really help this Pokemon, I just don't think it's going to be enough that it's going to put it over the edge. I think Body Slam will put it over the edge early, get a lot of one-shots, speed through a lot of things early, and be very useful until we get a Return. And once we get Return, it'll be gone, but it'll make the early part of the game very fast. Ancient Power is a move you would want to keep through the entire game, and I just don't see where we would get rid of one of our other moves to keep this. It's not even Stab. If it was Stab, I might consider it, but it's not. And to have that Omni Boost, that chance at the Omni Boost, we're gonna put ourselves in a lot of bad spots, and I'm just not gonna do that. So at the end of the game as well, we will use the move Ice Beam. Ice Beam will replace Ice Punch. We get it from the tutor right after we beat the Elite Four on a Wednesday, and we'll get Ice Beam, and it'll be a very powerful move that we'll take till the end of the game. And then obviously Belly Drum and Scary Face are options we can have from our previous evolution, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to use either one of those moves. Belly Drum is, again, another move you have to take through the whole game. And I just don't see what move I would avoid. There's no special event moves with this Pokemon, so we'll go back to the final slide and we'll go over our prediction. So, like I said, I think we can beat the Elite Four in just around between an hour and 5 minutes. I think that's the ideal time. We have to get to certain levels, we have to get certain things done, and this Pokemon really does need certain levels for, especially the speed part. Not to mention, I think all the Elite Four members are pretty much a cakewalk except for Karen. Karen is just, she's a wild card every time. With the sand attacks and with the confusion from Umbreon, it really does make the rest of the battle pretty inconsistent. So we got to compensate for that as well. But everyone else is a cakewalk. I don't see us having any problem with any other Elite Four member at all. And then when it comes to Red, I think we'll get this done. I don't think under an hour and 30 minutes is unfeasible, but it's the fact that we have to get to a certain level. If we didn't have to get to a certain level and I just blitz through and do minimum battles in Kanto, that's one thing. This Pokemon cannot do minimum battles in Kanto. We're going to have such a problem facing Venusaur. And here's the thing. We're going to pick up the thing called the Quick Claw. Quick Claw makes it so we have a random chance to go first against Pokemon that might outspeed us. But the problem is I went 20 battles straight pretty much without outspeeding Venusaur. So it's very unreliable to rely on that as a strategy. And you can't pick when it happens. We would like to go first on the second turn, because on the first turn with Venusaur, it's going to take in the sunlight to set up Solar Beam. On the second turn is one's actually going to attack us, and that's when we want to go first, because the first one, it's a free turn. But the second turn is what the problem is, and we don't have enough power or enough to one-shot it, so we have to rely on that. I mean, you can get a critical hit, that is a possibility, but we can't rely on that either because we're slow, and critical hit goes off our speed. So there's not really a great strategy with that other than just make sure you outspeed the Venusaur. It has no way to outspeed you if you're outspeeding it. And then we don't have to actually equip the Quick Claw. We can actually equip something else, like, for example, Leftovers. That can actually replenish our health. Or we can equip something else that might make our attacks more effective or whatever. So there's tons of different things that can help. We can equip the Never Melt Ice and make Ice Beam a little more effective. It won't be necessary. I'm just giving an example. I don't think an hour and 30 minutes is undoable. but I'm going to be conservative and say about an hour and 35 minutes. Hour and 30, an hour and 35 minutes is the range in which I would love to get this Pokemon accomplished. It's a very slow Pokemon, but to get it done under around an hour and a half is quite the accomplishment for this little derpy little guy. But that's my prediction. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. This is JD. This is JD's Nerdverse. And yeah, this is going to be a very fun week. Got this prediction video, and then we're going to get the playthrough done, and it's going to come out on Friday. So let me know what you think. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys on Friday.